What an emotional day. Highs and lows, triumph and defeat, the whole human experience.
The Western States Endurance Run. The 100-mile ultramarathon is held in the Sierra Nevada mountains, and the race receives thousands of applicants. But only a few hundred are selected, and even fewer finish. LA Times' Kevin Baxter witnessed this grueling marathon firsthand and joins us now. Kevin, I'm surprised you didn't put on your tennis shoes and join him.
Oh, I wanted to, but I figured that I would die if I tried, so I decided not to do it.
All right, give us the history of this race.
Well, the race is run, as you said, it's 100 miles. It's on a trail. It's on the Western States Trail. It goes from Squaw Valley, where the Olympic trials were held in before Mexico City, and where the Olympics were held in 1960, I believe, the Winter Olympics. It starts there. It ends at Placer High School in Auburn, California, and it follows an old Native American trail that was then used by miners. It was a mining trail to bring gold and silver out of the area and to bring mining equipment in. But it became, it was a equestrian race at first, and it was an equestrian race for about 15, 20 years. And there was one guy that rode in it two times. His name was Gordon Ainsley. He was a big guy, and his horse, because the trail is so difficult, there were many places he had to get off his horse and walk because it was just too difficult for the horse to carry him through those places. And the third year that he was going to be in it, his horse came up lame. And one of the other competitors said, "You know what, Gordy, you should just do it on foot because you do most of the race on foot anyways." He took that as a challenge. And the organizer of the race said, "No man will be able to complete this distance in less than 24 hours. He took that as a challenge. The first time he did the 100 miles, walk, running, 23 hours and about 45 minutes. He made it under 24 hours.
The day I picked to do it, the temperature was 107. You know, I mean, it was so hot that day that I couldn't even focus on the ground. I got to the point where I just said, you know, I can't do this. And then I just decided, well, you know, the alternative was quitting, and I really hate quitting. And so I kept going.
The field, you would think that you'd have to go around and ask people to run this race. Thousands and thousands of people apply. And so there's a lottery because it's limited by an act of Congress. The field can only be 375 runners because it's a protected wildlife preserve. So they have a lottery. People have to go into a lottery to get in this field. That's how many people want to run this race, and that's how special it is.
This terrain is extreme.
Yeah, if you took the whole course, it rises and falls. It goes through canyons, up mountains. The total amount of elevation gain is 18,000 feet.
Whoa.
The total drop is 23,000 feet. If you put that together, this race covers up and down. It's 2 miles higher than Mount Everest is, or the difference in elevation is 2 miles more than Mount Everest is. That's how much it goes up and down. And when you're going up the hill, it's lung busting. When you come down, it just destroys your legs because you're trying to brake as you're going down these canyons.
People do it for all sorts of reasons, but one thing they all say is that it's changed their life. Tell us about some of these folks. You spoke to a lot of them.
Yeah, it's a bucket list thing, and talking to some of these people. And I was really surprised. I thought this might be a young person's pursuit. The majority of the people that I ran across were at the very youngest were in their late 30s. Most were in their 50s and 60s, and some of them finished. It is a real bucket list kind of thing. All kinds of different professions, and it does change their life. Going back to Gordon Ainsley, the first guy who did it under the challenge, at the time he was a woodcutter. He had his claim to fame as an athlete was to win the pancake eating contest at his junior college. After he did the race, he said, "You know what? That race told me I can do things I never thought I could do. I never thought I could do that." And he went on to become a doctor of chiropractic medicine. He went on to win to get a black belt in combat sports. And he still does ultra marathons at age 77. I talked to another woman that she was from Northern California. She had done a 100-mile bike. She had actually ridden a bike across the country. Her mother told me she didn't even have a bike when she'd agreed to do this. She went out, spent $200 to get a bike, and biked across the country. That's the kind of people this race gets. She showed up and said, "Yeah, I'll try to run 100 miles. The woman that we followed a woman named Luann Park. She's 62 years old. She's from Lake Shasta. She finished 11 times. She came back to do it for the 13th time. And I asked her why, you've already proven that you can do it. You finished second one year. You've proven you're fast. Why come back to do it? And she said, because it's there, because the challenge remains. Even though she's done well over 200 ultra marathons in her life, Western States is the place to go and the place to be seen. And she wanted to come back and try to do it one more time.
Yeah, it's bragging rights and, you know, a couple of nice belt buckles. No big purse involved. This year's race, you have to tell us. I know a lot of people didn't finish, but for those who did, something special happened at golden hour.
Yeah, about a quarter of the field does not finish, and about another quarter finishes in the last hour. Now, if you finish in under 30 hours, you get a belt buckle, as you mentioned, very nice belt buckle. If you finish after 30 hours and 1 second, you didn't exist. You're not in the official list. You get nothing. So a number of people finish in that last hour, and people from the community come out and cheer. They fill the football stadium. It's a super emotional thing. You have to see it to believe it. People hobbling and barely able to move, seeing the clock and trying to make it by 30 hours. I've covered a lot of events all over the world. I've never seen anything like golden hour at Western States. It's amazing.
Kevin Baxter, writing for the Times about a race very few of us will ever witness. Thank you for taking us there.
Thank you for watching our YouTube channel. For more stories in your communities, click the subscribe button right here. You can also download our app or watch us on TV for the latest information, balanced coverage, weather updates every 10 minutes, and more. We'll see you then.